Hey guys, David Hauser here, and today I'm going to be talking about stabilizers and a few things that I do to get my bows to aim well for me. And you can hopefully use that in the future to get your bow to aim as you want it as well. I'm also going to run through a few things that if you're new to target archery or shooting a long stabilizer, kind of a baseline for give you direction in which you can go that I found has worked really well for me. And I'll actually go back to these things if I'm ever struggling to try to get a fresh start and get my setup how I would like it. So stay tuned, I'll run through a few things like that, and I hope this video helps you guys out. So a question I get asked more often than not is, where do I start? You know, I'm new to the sport, new to target archery. I don't know which stabilizers to get, what lengths to get, how much weight to buy, and those are all great questions and they're all super important, and each one is going to have a different answer to it. So first off, I'm going to mention where do I start as far as my lengths go. A good starting point in my eyes is a 30-inch front bar, like this Bee Stinger Premier Plus, and a 12-inch back bar. I think this is a great combination. I've tried 33, 36-inch front bars and 15, 18, and even 10-inch back bars, and I always end up going back to the 12 with a 30-inch front combo. I think it's a great starting point, and it's a really common setup that you'll see amongst a lot of archers. Of course, people are going to try different things, and they are going to find other things that they like, but if you're just getting started out, I think that combination is a really good starting point for you, and it'll give you something to build off of, as well as insight into what you may like to try something different in the future. So while we're talking about lengths, I'm also going to mention what a different length stabilizer or back stabilizer is going to do. So the longer the front stabilizer you're going to add onto your bow, the less weight you're going to need to put on the end of it, which makes sense because it's getting it further away from your bow, so it's going to feel like it's going to act heavier. Also, the opposite effect is going to happen with a shorter stabilizer. The shorter your stabilizer is, the more weight you're going to need to add to get the same effect as if you had a longer stabilizer with less weight. Now, what a short stabilizer is going to do, so say that you're going to try a 27-inch stabilizer instead of a 30-inch stabilizer. You may need to add some more weight, and what I've found when I shorten up my front bar is my movement is much faster. So when I'm aiming at the center, my pin's going to move a lot quicker around. It still stays in the middle, don't get me wrong, but as far as the movement that you're going to see while you're aiming is going to be a lot quicker, shorter movements. And the inverse is going to happen with a longer stabilizer. So if you try like a 33 or 36-inch stabilizer, your movement's going to be very slow and kind of longer. And this is something that is going to be different for depending on the amount of weight that you're going to run, because you can adjust that, but that's just what I've found. When I go from a shorter stabilizer to a longer stabilizer, the length of the bar itself affects how fast your pin is going to move while you're aiming at the center. So that's definitely something to consider when you're picking out a length, which is why I think a 30 is a really good starting point, because I've tried a lot of different stabilizers as far as the front bar length goes, and I always come back to this 30 because I think it's a great combination of the speed of the movement in the center and how it reacts to weights for me and my setups. So now as far as the back bar, while we're talking about lengths, what you're going to notice the most with a back bar adjusting the length is how much weight you're going to need to run. So it's a really similar concept with the front stabilizer. If you run a longer bar, you can run less weight. Same thing with this. So if you want to keep your mass weight of your bow down and you don't want to stack a lot of weight on it to get the same effect that you're looking for, you can try a longer back stabilizer. Same with the shorter one. If you want to get your mass weight up, you can shorten up that back bar and add more weight to it. I've tried both of these things. I've tried the 15-inch back bar, I've tried an 8 and a 10-inch back bar. Again, I always come back to the 12-inch for the same reason I do with the 30. I just really like how this reacts to weight, how much weight I run on it, and it's just a really good combination for me and my shooting style. And it's like I said, I see a lot of other people running similar lengths to this. Of course, everybody's different. Nobody's going to do exactly what I do, and I'm not going to do exactly what somebody else does. It all depends on your shooting style and a lot of other factors, but this is just a combination that's very common, and I see a lot of people using or starting out with to, like I said before, get you an insight onto what's going to work for you and help you become a better archer and get your bow to aim as you would like it to make the best shot that you possibly can. So another really important question that I get asked very often is, how much weight do I run? How much should I put on my front bar, and how much should I counteract that with my back weight? And really, it's going to depend on your shooting style. Stabilization is something that's very hard to duplicate archer to archer. Everyone has to find what works well for them. But as far as the starting point goes, I like to run like a 1-to-4 ratio. So whatever I have on the front bar, I like to put 4 times that amount of weight on the back bar to get a starting point, and then I'll fine tune and adjust weights here and there in the future. So what I'm running is I'm running 5 1/3 ounces on my front bar, and then I'm running 21 ounces on my back bar. So I'm right about that 1-to-4 ratio, which is, like I said before, another good common starting point if you're new to this, or even if you feel like you're struggling. It's something that I think you should try, and just see how it works for you, and then you can adjust from there. Add more weights to your front bar or back bar, or whatever you may need. But the 1-to-4 ratio, I think, is a really good thing that you should try if you're like a back tension shooter and you really like to relax and just kind of hold your pin in the middle until it fires. However, if you're somebody who shoots on command and you shoot, you get back as soon as you get in the middle, you shoot very fast, I'd lean more towards like a 1-to-3 ratio with a little bit more front weight. This is just something that I've picked up from talking to other people who, depending on your shooting style and things I've observed. And of course, there's going to be people out there that, they might shoot really fast and they might shoot hardly any weight on the front and a ton on the back. It's going to be different for everybody, but this is just a baseline that you can try, that 1-to-4 or 1-to-3 ratio, to kind of give you a ballpark of where you're at as an archer and what's going to work best for you, that you can fine tune from that point. So say you have 4 ounces on your front bar, try 10 or 12 ounces on your back bar to see how that reacts for you, and then adjust from there so you can add more weights to get it to aim better, and little things like that. That it's just a starting point to give you a direction to go in to try to get that bow to aim as well as you can, because I think that a good aiming bow is one of the most important factors of shooting a good score. If you have a bow that you just can't seem to aim in the middle, it's going to be really hard to obviously hit the middle because you can't keep it there, especially when you're under pressure. If that dot's dancing around the X and you just can't seem to stop it and get it to stay there, when the pressure's on and you have to hit that X or hit that 12 to win, and your pin is all over the place, it's gonna make it that much harder for you. So getting your bow to aim very well and working on your stabilization setup is super important, and I really hope that some of the stuff I'm running through is gonna help you guys with that.